A very good afternoon to one and all. See, in a country of 1.38 billion population, I mean 138 crores population, there are only 23 IITs in this country. 23 IITs. In 23 IITs, every year for JEE exam, JEE is one of the second toughest exam in this country, one of the finest exam in the country. So here, every year there will be more than 10 lakh students appearing for this exam, JEE. Out of 10 lakh students, only 16,000 students will get into the IITs. So it stands for 1.5% success rate, 1.5%. Out of this 1.5%, only 0.5% of students will enter the well-known, oldest and most prestigious IITs, and he is one among them. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Outstanding it is. So a very warm and very hearty welcome to Mr. Bharat Choudhary. So a big round of applause. So you are in IIT Delhi, the institution which has produced very famous personalities such as Raghuram Rajan, one of the world's best economists, exceptionally fantastic mind he is. He is known as one of the world's fantastic and outstanding economists. He has come from IIT Delhi. The first woman IPS, who is she? Kiran Bedi, she is from IIT Delhi. Okay, Chetan Bhagat, he is from IIT Delhi. So you are in such a campus from where, which has produced exceptionally fantastic personalities in this country. How do you feel?
Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for giving your time, and even the management for calling me here, inviting me with such grandly, and so I express my gratitude to them firstly. So thank you for that.
No, we are actually very glad to have you here because IITians are very rare species, you know. They are not available everywhere. So we are very happy to have you here. Okay. So very first thing which I want to inquire you is, when did you get to know about this IIT or JEE exam, and when did you decided to go for this?
I'd like to share my journey here. I did my 10th here in St. Francis in Chikodi itself. I was not sure what I want to do. Even I finished my board exams. Many of my friends had already decided what they are going to do. Like 2 of my friends already had decided that they are going to do IIT, and they had already done their admission in October itself. We have to give their NTS exam. It is national test something. So we have to give that and get admission in top coaching institutes, Allen and all. So they had already done their admissions. I was really clueless. I didn't know what I'm going to do, because my background is such that I didn't have any guidance actually. So I had to research myself, like what suits me best, what will suit to the family, according to the family. And I had decided to do IIM actually, MBA. I thought I'll do commerce first, and then from Bangalore I'll do BBA, and then finish my MBA from top IIMs like IIM Calcutta. IIM, if many of you, I think you don't know, it is Indian Institute of Management. So I wanted to get into business and management. That is what I had thought. So I had gone to Belgaum. My cousin stays there. I said him, we'll go to Bangalore for admission itself. So when I went there, he said me about JEE. That's the first time, and I had finished my board exams, and it was 15 to 20 days past that.
So very after 10th standard examination, after 10 days or 15 days, you heard the word JEE for the first time, right? So Sunlo, after 10th, he heard the name JEE, and within a span of 2 years, he cracked it. Even you people are in the same stage now, hardly a month or a 1.5 month or later. So you can also decide it now. A very live experience, a very live inspiration is in front of you, right?
So what he said, my cousin, is he said there is an exam called JEE, which is toughest in India, and even it's one of the toughest in the world as well. So he said me, see if you can try. I said him, see, my interest lies in mathematics and physics. So I want to get into career which has these 2 subjects. So he said, see, JEE is something, it is toughest and all. He gave an example of his friend. He was a board topper, but still he couldn't clear JEE. Then that hit my ego. I took it on ego and I said I'll crack this exam. I said I will crack this exam whatsoever it takes. So immediately from Belgaum, this talk happened at night. So immediately in the morning I said I'll go to Chikodi. I came to Chikodi. I said my dad, let's go Kota. I want to go Kota. So at night we left for Kota. We booked Tatkal tickets and we went to Kota for admission.
See, his ego got hurt by a single sentence. What was that?
JEE is toughest.
Toughest, and many of them couldn't crack it.
Many of them don't crack.
There should be something which should hurt your ego. You should not sit like a stone whenever someone scores or says something. Okay, there should be something which should hurt your ego. And whenever your ego hurts, only at that time you can break the barriers what you have put for yourself, and then you can come up. Okay, so take such type of insults or such type of challenges as a bigger challenge, and then go for the new decisions, right? Okay, so did you you have done any special coaching or special preparation before 10th? I mean during your school days, have you done any special preparation or separate coaching for this?
No, I didn't do anything. I just what all of them do here, just to pass the board exams and top it. That's what I did. And I didn't know either that we have to do any coaching or anything. I didn't even know what IITs are. So I couldn't do that.
What was your 10th percentage?
94.8.
That's great. And 12th percentage?
95.
JEE Advanced ranking, All India ranking?
JEE Advanced 5000.
5000. Ranking in JEE Advanced. Listen, more than 10 lakh students every year appear for this JEE Advanced exam. JEE Mains exam. Out of 10 lakh students, only 2.5 lakh students will be filtered for JEE Advanced, and in that only 16,000 students will get into IITs. And especially, there are 23 IITs in the country, and in those 23 IITs, IIT Delhi stands in top 2, top 1, top 3 every year. There will be certain variation, but it will be in top 3. And he is in IIT Delhi, one of the outstanding institutions in this country. Getting into that campus is the dream of millions of students. Dream of millions of students who will be dreaming day and night in this country. And this guy stands there. That's really outstanding. I'm getting goosebumps for myself.
Same here.
We'll go for the next question. How many hours did you study during your, class 11 and class 12 per day?
In first year, I just studied as in we had my coaching had classes from 2 to 8, from 2 in the afternoon to till 8. So I used to attend all the classes, and then they used to give us work for solving some questions from their sheets, from the material that coaching used to provide us. So I was not able to solve whole questions. Like first month, it was really tough for me. Like, what is this happening? I'm not able to do. I used to just complete 50 to 60% of my work. And my whole first year went in the same way. Like I used to complete only 70% at max. And like timing, if I say, I used to study 4 hours extra after the classes. So, but when I came in 12th, I realized that this is not something that will give me a seat in IIT. Then I started to analyze myself, like how to score more, what this exam demands of me, and then I started to prepare in that way. So then, if I say of timing, I increased to 5 hours, but I changed my methodology and all, so that helped me.
How did you manage your, physical classes and your self-study timing? Physical classes were only for 4 to 5 hours per day, or?
Physical classes were from 2 to 8 every day. Then I had time in the morning that was given for self-study.
Other than studies, what you used to do?
I play football and I'm even vice captain of IIT Delhi team. Football? And also I'm interested in economics, and I am the executive there, and I take sessions.
He plays football in playground, not in mobile, right? Okay. So when you sit for study, you used to study continuously for 4-5 hours like that, or there would, how was your planning? How was your strategy of studying continuously?
When I was in 11th, I used to study randomly, no plans at all, nothing. But when I came to 12th, actually, then I started to like divide time, 1 hour for each subject, and I don't used to take breaks. So this is one thing very important, because when you give your exam JEE, it is of 3 hours. So you should have that capacity to use your brain with 100% efficiency for 3 hours. So whenever you sit for studies, I used to sit for 4 hours. So if you can sit for 4 hours, and 3 hours that becomes really normal for you. So you have to start in that way, and that is how I manage. And in 4 hours, it's not like you are only studying maths continuous for hours. I had to change subjects like every 1 hour. So because in exams as well, you have to switch subjects. So you have to train your brain in that way.
Actually, a point to be noted. See, exam is of 3 hours duration. So you practice to sit at least for 4 hours continuously. When we sit at a place continuously, we should be having our mind and heart there. Okay, we should not get distracted. In such a way, we have to stay there. That's why he continuously sat for 4 hours continuously. So this is a very good point to note it down, right? So practice that. That is a very.
It becomes tough at the start. I was not able to sit. Many times, like after 2 hours, it used to feel like I'm getting sleep and all. But I never left. I used to say, even if I'm not sitting, I'll sit for 4 hours. Keep your books aside, you sit for 4 hours. At start that way, and then eventually you will progress.
Sitting for 4 hours continuously, you practice that first, and then you went for the studies, right? You used any social media apps like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp? This is a very important question for these people. They should know it.
During my 11th and 12th, no, I never used it.
Listen it with a ear open, both the ears open. Please say it once more.
WhatsApp I used to use, even that I stopped when I came in 12th. I had a small Nokia mobile.
That's great. You people bring such a big mobiles nowadays and you keep it there in the office. Stop it first, right? Okay. What you did whenever your timetable or your schedule or your plan, whatever you have planned, I mean, if you have planned this week I have to study, I have to complete so much amount of syllabus, or today I have to sit so long and I have to read. If such plans and such timetables, if they got break or if they got failed, if they get disturbed, what you used to do at that time?
How I used to plan is, I used to plan weekly, never plan like in a day I am going to do this, because you will have some other stuff to do and eventually you're not able to finish that, and that will demotivate you to continue further. So have plans of weeks and give a buffer day on Sunday. So whatever you are not able to complete in up to Saturday, you can do it on Sunday. And extra when you complete, and keep small targets. Don't start that you are going to finish whole syllabus in 1 week and finish and throw, and you will do it. You will never do it. So have small targets, and when you accomplish those, it will motivate you to do further better in next weeks. So have small targets and weekly targets. That is what I used to do, and have targets for each subject. Never neglect any subject, because every subject is important in JEE if you want to get a good rank.
You have to balance all the subjects at the time.
We have to manage.
Actually, for JEE aspirants and all competitive exam aspirants, it is not a cakewalk to crack any competitive exams, especially national level competitive exams. Whenever you lost your motivation, because motivation is such a fuel that which takes the people up till the end. Many people will quit at 99%. So there is a difference between a person who quits at 99 and who will achieve at 100. That is motivation, right? Whenever you lost your motivation, or whenever the fear of exam overtook you, what you did at that time? How did you manage that stress?
During first year and second year, I didn't have this much times. There were times, because I used to we had JEE exams, advanced I am talking about, bi-weekly, once in 2 weeks. So I used to score like 30% and all, but I knew that my target was like 40% to score in JEE Advanced, and because if you score 40% in JEE Advanced, you are getting a seat in IIT. This is how tough the exam is. Scoring 40% in JEE Advanced, because if I say my percentage, I scored 35.1% in my JEE Advanced, and I got 5000 rank. So
fear of JEE Advanced is in such a way that it haunts the person. He used a word called as haunts. So that kind of exam it is. You cannot crack it with this normal schedule, with this normal mentality. You have to shed your blood for that, right? So actually JEE Advanced is of that level, and he has done it. He has faced that, all such challenges he has faced, and he has come up. That's very great. Which study material did you use during your preparation of JEE?
During my preparation of JEE, I never used any other study material except the material that was given to us by coaching. That's it. And even I would recommend you all, whenever you are starting your preparation, you have to only keep a single resource for your whole during your preparation. That is what I'm saying. Never read 100 books like differently once. I would say read one book 100 times, and that will help you more. Because what happens is, when you give your exam, like when I used to give my exam, whenever a concept question comes, I know that this is from this concept, and what used to come in my head is, it is in this page and it was something here. So that's what, when you read a single book 100 times or 10 times, how much ever you can, that's what it builds in your mind. You will have those pages in your head. You will have, this is where I had written, this is where in that book it was. So that is what I would say. And concepts in every book is actually same. There is hardly any difference. If you refer this book, like nowadays in social media, you will start from YouTube, you will start reading. You will start following someone, and then your friend will say that he is teaching so good, and let's see, and you will switch to other, and in that you will end up losing your rhythm and everything. So I would say stick to one resource, whatever it is, and that will help you.
That's really great. See, sticking to one book, you have to follow only one, whatever it may be. Follow one book, put your entire potential on that book only. It will not make you any kind of loss. That is what he wanted to say. Instead of buying number of books, what you people will do, ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ನಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ದ ಆ ಬುಕ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ನಾಳೆ ಫೋನ್ಯಾರು ಯಾರೋ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರೊಂದು ಬುಕ್ ಹೇಳ್ರು, ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ನಾಡ್ದು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ಯಾವ ದೋಸ್ತ ಹೇಳ್ದ ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ಬುಕ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟಂತ ಬುಕ್ ತೊಗೊಳಾರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಂತ ಓದಾರ್ರಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ವೇ. ಸೊ ಬಿಲೀವ್ one book, have one book and go through it. That's it. Put your entire potential for that one book. That is the conclusion. What is the difference between the study material of these coaching institutes and the well-known publishers which are available in the market, like MTG, HCV, Arihant, so and so?
There's not much difference in both, I would say. They are similar. But in coaching materials, they are arranged in a proper way so that what student demands. They put the experience of what, all the faculties, and that is the only difference. There's not much difference. Question wise, there is no difference in whatever resource you follow. Every resource has its advantages and disadvantages, but any resource if you follow, it's good for cracking it.
Which is your most loved book while preparing JEE?
I didn't follow any book, not even a single book I followed. I just followed what coaching institute gave, that's it.
You had any special habits of making separate your own notes like that, or maintaining a diary of mistakes?
Yeah, we used to make notes while during lectures. Those were the notes, and one thing I followed is whenever you make notes during your lectures, keep some spaces in your notes, so that whenever you solve some questions and you feel that there is a concept behind that question, try to inculcate them in your notes, so that whenever you go through your notes, you will even revise those concepts, that how to solve such questions if such questions come in further in your exam, so that you don't miss those. So have those spaces and make your notes. So even if you refer so many things for your notes, see that you write everything in your notes. Your notes is everything. Like during my JEE days, I had around 50 books of my notes, and I had written everything. It was like, and regularly you have to go through your notes, and that's the only thing I would say.
How did you manage to give the time for these three subjects, PCM?
My favorite subject is maths, I would say. And I hated chemistry. I don't know why. Even since my school days, I didn't like chemistry.
Physics is neutral.
Physics is, yeah, because it has maths, I was interested in it. For mathematical part, yes, physics was good. So what used to happen is whenever I had maths questions in my first year, what happened is because maths is what interested me. I used to solve whole day just I'm sitting with maths. I neglected both the subjects actually. So that is what I'm saying. When I finished my first year, I started to analyze myself. I saw what's happening, how to score more, what this exam demands of. Then I understood how to divide and give same time for all the three subjects. So then I started giving equal time. Like whenever I'm sitting for 5 hours, I will give 1.3 hours for each subject, 1.3 hours for each, whatever it takes. That is how I did.
Even for the beginning, 1.3 hour for the beginners who is starting to study for JEE or for any competitive exam. At the beginning, is 1.3 hours for per subject enough?
Yeah, per day it's enough. But that is what you should have consistency. You should be disciplined during your 2 years of preparation. By discipline, I mean you should be consistent with what you're doing. It's not like you're doing for 3 days and then 3 days you are going somewhere and you have taken that break, and that will not help you. If you are consistent enough and you are, even if you are giving 1 hour for each subject self-study, that is more than enough and you will easily crack JEE.
It has to be consistent. Consistent means if today you have studied 1.5 hour mathematics, it has to be continued for every day. It should not be like that. Today I have studied for 4 hours, so tomorrow I will make a rest and then day after tomorrow I will continue it. It will not happen like that. So continuously you should sustain your motivation, you should sustain your seriousness, and the effort should be put continuously. Casually, students from Karnataka, they have more fear towards board exam, and many students up till today, what we have seen, they fail in balancing board study and competitive study. Parallelly, they cannot handle it. So in this hairline difference, in this hairline toughness, what suggestion you would like to give for the students?
Firstly, you have to prioritize what you want to do. If you have a target that you want to get into best engineering colleges, then board marks will not actually matter. This is frankly I'm saying it, because then, so what I had is I know for JEE, if you want to get into IITs, NITs, there is a criteria of 75%. You need just 75%. Even if you score 100%, you will never get seat in IIT, you will never get seat in NIT, you will never get seat in IIIT in your boards. So that's what I had prioritized myself, that I want to get into IIT. So I never prepared myself so that I can score more in boards. Whole 2 years my preparation was related to competitive exam, and that's what you have to do, because if you are good enough at the competitive exam, board is nothing. Board is like you can easily crack it. There's nothing in passing. You do previous 10 years paper, and whatever you have learned in 2 years of competitive, it's more than enough to crack, and you will score easily 95 plus above in your boards. So even during me, I never studied for boards. Just 25 days before boards, I started my preparation for boards, and I scored 95% in my 12th. So it's not that big a deal scoring in your boards. So I would recommend you, if you have that passion, or if you have dream to get into big colleges of engineering, IITs, NITs, then target yourself and prioritize your work towards competitive exam, and that is what it is.
So you should concentrate mainly on the competitive exams. Board should not be a hurdle for you, right? How important is a teacher's role in cracking competitive exams?
For me, it was really so much, because in 11th I didn't have that good mentor who would guide me through this preparation. That is why I'm mentioning it every now and then, that I started my preparation in 12th, because in 11th I had nothing. I was just myself and doing whatever I'm doing. But when I came in 12th, we had a good physics teacher, and he used to not just teach the course, but he started to say what JEE is, how it demands. He started to put you into that analytical thinking of the exam, like what it demands of a student. And then I started to think, yeah, this is how I have to do and all. So I would really say a teacher's role is so much. At least for me it was.
Obviously, physics teachers are very good in, right. In case of getting IITs, obviously it is the dream of millions of students. In case of getting an IIT, the chances of not getting IIT is more than chances of getting IIT, right? This fear of IIT JEE exam haunts all the aspirants. How did you manage this stress? I mean, when you are preparing for JEE at that time, in the middle of that journey, you didn't feel that in Nankadinda Yenagtati, how many people, 10 lakh people, students are sitting for this exam. What can I do? When you didn't feel any such kind of things, and how did you manage that?
At start, I felt that this is not my thing. I can't do, because in my class there were like all the school toppers come to quota. That is one thing. Here I am like, I am the topper, but when you go there, you are not the topper. You are the like average student there. So I would say in my class there was CBSE national topper. She was in my class, and it was like whenever sir used to discuss something, questions and all, like I am sitting alone and everyone is shouting, this is answer, and I am like, oh, what I have learnt. What kind of topper I was. It used to put me in doubt that whether I have come in right place or not. But then when you slowly don't lose your don't lose your belief, have self-belief in you that you will do it. And once I came in 12th, and like after 2 months, I was like, this exam I am going to give and I will easily pass on this. Every time I went for giving paper, I was like, ये paper फोड़ के आऊँगा मैं, paper तो फोड़ के ही आऊँगा मैं. That was the belief I had. Even whenever I used to give paper, I used to write there before, तू फोड़ेगा. Like always. Even I have my J advance sheets with me now. Yesterday I was just going through them. I have written there, it is still written, tu fodega. Before every paper I used to write it, and I had that self belief, and I had such a belief that by the end of 12th I understood that I am going to get IIT easily. I was that confident enough, and because of that I didn't even fill the form of CET. My friends were there and they said, let's fill form of CET and we'll give that, but what if you don't crack IIT?
You were determined that
I knew that I am going to crack.
So I want to go in IIT, that's it. Right.
Because if you fill the form, I have to come to Karnataka to give my exams, and it will take around 10 days going and coming and giving your exam and all. So I thought that 10 days, during that time it is more important, and giving those 10 days for preparation, I would boost my rank. So I was determined that I'll get into IIT.
Determination, that's what called as determination. We should not keep a second option there, right? According to my study, up to my knowledge, I have found that in overall IITs, there are hardly 2.5% of Kannadigas in IITs, or less than that.
In IIT Delhi, I have seen 6 to 7 students only of my batch, and all are from Bangalore. No one's from other.
Yeah, rarely from North Karnataka. Rarely from North Karnataka.
When they ask me where you are from, I say Belgaum, and they say, okay, it is also Bangalore. So it is like that.
Okay. Why such thing happens? I mean, why Kannadigas are not entering IITs? What deficiency you feel here?
The thing I feel is there's no competitive environment around, and actually you need also motivation. Like if someone in your family has done something, then it also motivates you to achieve something more than that. That is what happened now in my family. When I got into IIT, even my sister started like, even I want to show, even I want to prove that even I am better than you. Like that competition, when it comes into play, it will actually grow the people around. So when once of like 3 of you, if you crack IIT, then students that are coming like juniors to you, even they will have that motivation. If they can crack, even I can crack it easily. So if you have that grit to show that let me prove it, and it will impact the society nearby you, that is something that is lacking here, because we don't have those many for guidance and all role models.
Who was your inspiration? Who was your challenge?
My challenge was my ego. My ego.
Your ego.
I took it on ego. I want to crack this. That's it.
Ego should hurt in this way, right? In not other way. And even this is a true fact that why there is a less competitive exam in Karnataka, in our state, that we got IIT in 2016 in Karnataka. There was no single IIT in Karnataka up till 2016, and even it is in a developing stage, I guess. So when there are no IITs, there is no craze. And in other face of coin is, in case of Karnataka, is we are having very fantastic good private engineering colleges also, which are providing very fantastic job opportunities as well as the courses here. And one more thing is, still IIT is not a criteria in your marriage biodata. Until and unless you get it in that, many of them will not think about it, I guess. When someone says that, okay, I will only marry IITian, at that time everybody will start thinking about it, right? Okay. If someone has to crack JEE, he has to go for quota only, or he can do it wherever he is?
Before, I would say you had to go outside because there were no resources online. But today, with plenty of resources available online, if you stick to one, if you have that determination and discipline in your preparation, I would say you can easily crack, because you have the resources now, and they are not that costly that you can't afford them financially as well. There are many, like physics wala, if you have heard, it's a unicorn now. Even he provides it with so cheap and all. So if you stick to a single resource and with your determination, you can do it now.
So obviously the online coachings will help.
Yeah, they will help if you are. Yeah.
Only on online coaching it will be enough, or he requires a regular colleges and classes like this also?
Yeah, you can do parallelly both of them, because you can clear your, whenever you are coming to college, be focused on clearing your concepts, not on like getting marks in boards and all. Just clear your concepts here and try to apply them in your JEE questions and all. Try to apply them, solve as many questions as you can, and regularly. That is what will help you.
You can observe here, the percentage of female students is more, gents is less. Is this the same case in IITs also?
No, it's reverse.
Many times in newspapers and news we hear that ee sarino balikerde melugai. Is there melugai in IIT? Girls will be scoring highest in all. I'm not discriminating, but girls will be scoring highest in all the board exams and all here. So is that the same case in in case of scoring, in case of making a benchmark, girls will do that or boys will do that in IITs?
Generally boys are ahead in those things, but even not discriminating girls, even they are more competitive. They are more competitive among themselves, but yeah, but boys are ahead in that. And the ratio in IITs is 1:5 now. For every four boys, five boys, there is one girl.
Ratio of boys is actually more, even if you compare in the case of population also in our country. For every 1,000 males, there are only 940 or 948 girls. That is a different case. Okay, that's all what I wanted to speak with them. Now, anyone of you who are interested, and if you want to inquire something, a guy from IIT Delhi is here. You will not find IITian anywhere easily. Very rare spaces this is. So you can interrogate him. Anyone? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಾ? ಹಾಂ, ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೇಳೋದ್ರಿದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
You are not bound to ask in English. You can ask in Kannada, Hindi, whatever language that suits you. हाँ, कन्नड़ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. हाँ, मराठी पण चालते हैं.
He has to know every language. He will be knowing. Anyone? हाँ, साक्षी. Set. हाँ, start.
So we really feel gratitude for your presence over here, and my question is that right before one day of your JEE advanced examination, how do you make up your mind to stay confident? I mean, usually we as students, we have fear of board exams. We prepared for a whole year, but before a day of examinations, we lose our how did you make up your mind that I'm going to do it and I'm going to crack it at any condition, even though I have got a lot of competition? How was your mind at that point in time before a day out examination?
I had prepared for it for whole 2 years. We had given so many exams that giving an exam on like the final exam, it was not that big a deal for me, actually for me, because you had given so many exams, you had given even all India tests, and you know where you are, where you lie in. So I didn't have that big a deal, but I'd say you a story of mine, my journey, what actually happened. I gave my JEE mains exam in January, and then we had boards in March. So I prepared for boards, and I had my last exam on March 19th. Till then, Corona news was buzzing around all India. So then there was lockdown. I was in Kota, and I was stuck there for a whole month. We had many students had even gone, and then there was news going on like many Kota students are there and food and all. I stayed in PG there, so I asked my owner to give me food, and whole 1 month I was there, and then government started to send students to their home, and then I went to Rajasthan, to my hometown there. And I was there for 3 months. In whole 4 months, I couldn't prepare for JEE because this was something new, that it was very unexpected, and we didn't know what's going to happen, and even JEE exams were postponing, and that was really demotivating me to prepare, because it was like they are postponing exams every now and then why should I prepare now? Let me chill. Everyone around you, when you're in house, everyone is having that fun time, some are even busy, you are hearing cases, some bad news and all every now and then. So that was the situation, and it won't motivate you to study at that point. So those 4 months had gone. Then I came to Chikodi because I had exam, JEE mains. Even that got postponed, and for 1 month again we had all my friends here, so we used to chill and we used to roam around and all. So that's what it was. And when I like now it was like 5 months complete gap in my studies, so it was really big, and I had lost all the hopes that I won't be able to clear JEE. And when I gave we had done mains exam second attempt, so first attempt I had scored 99.7, and through I was like I'll get NIT Surathkal and I'll be happy, and I had decided that because I know that with 5 to 6 months of break, it is not possible to crack IIT. But then I gave my JEE mains. I thought, let me see where I am lying around. I thought, what if everyone around the country are in the same situation? So let me try. Then I gave my JEE mains, and I scored 98 percentile, which is like you are about to 20,000 rank. Then I thought that I am not able to crack IIT because JEE Advanced was just 20 days after JEE mains. I thought, what will I do in these 20 days? I have to score under 10,000. So then it was really depressing, and I had made up my mind that I'll get NIT Surathkal. I won't be able to crack, and all those like all your 2 years have been wasted. You have wasted your parents' money and all. Those all thoughts started coming at night when you're sleeping. But then I had 20 days, and I thought, let me give my full in these 20 days. I'll do whatever it demands of me. Then I put my full effort, 100% in those 20 days. And then when I gave my JEE, I went to Belgaum to give JEE Advanced. So when I gave my first paper, I was really blank. I was not understanding what I'm doing. I did whatever, and I came out. And I couldn't attempt many questions. Like I was reading question and I'm thinking, and then I was not able to attend. And in that process, you lose your 10 minutes. So that is what was happening. And then when I gave my first paper, actually JEE Advanced, if you know the pattern, there are 2 papers in a day. Morning from 9 to 12, and then from 2 to 5. You have to give 2 papers in a day. So I gave my first paper. I came out. I didn't think of, like, it was not willing me to go and give the second paper, because I know I have done whatever bad I could do. So then, but still my parents were there, I didn't have any food, I took a nap of 1 hour and then I went back to the center and I gave my second paper and then I came. But when I came out, even second paper didn't go well. Then when I came back, when I came to home, I saw the news around that this was the toughest paper in last 20 years. JEE Advanced, this was the toughest paper. So then something I thought there is some hope, because if it is tough for me, it is tough for everyone around, whoever has prepared. So then I started to, I was a little chill. I thought, let me see now when results come, and when results came, I was really happy when I got 5,000 rank. So this is how, but that is what I learned is never live until last minute, because what happened is I had the experience of 2 years. That is what your decision or what your thought process is just a week before will be dependent on what you have done your 2 years, how you have used your 2 years. So these 2 years are more important than what you will think, what will happen then. So that becomes, so that is what I had my experience with me, how to score marks, I know how to attempt a paper, because that I had not forgotten. I had just forgotten some concepts, and it's okay if you have forgotten concepts, but you had that experience, and that is what helped me actually scoring that within 20 days, increasing my rank to from 20,000 to 5,000. That was a big achievement in myself. So that is what your 2 years will matter more than what you are doing now.
Anyone else?
Good afternoon, sir, and pleasure to meet you, and
Thank you.
to spend your valuable time with us. So my question to you is, as you said that during first year, 1 hour per subject is sufficient. So while studying, how to gain quality of knowledge other than quantity of knowledge? Thank you.
By quality, I'm audible, right?
Is it on?
It is on. Light is not. So okay, quality. By quality, what I understand is you have to have really clear and crisp knowledge of what you are actually reading. You should understand the concepts really clearly, in depth, go in depth, give as much time as you can for your concepts. If you clear your concepts properly, then solving questions is just that is a practice. It's not you're learning so much from your questions, but learning the theory, understanding it, how will you apply, try to, whenever you're reading a theory, just think of questions, try to make your questions, how examiner can ask you questions. Think of those, if he can ask me this, he can ask me this. Think of your questions, and when you give your paper, it automatically, your mind will work in that way that you had thought in that way while reading your theory. So that is what I would say. And quantity is number of questions that you are practicing. That is, try as much as you can. In 1 hour, when you start, it will be like you are able to solve just 5 questions, 6 questions. But as you go eventually and progress ahead, you will see that you are able to solve more than 10 questions in 1 hour, 20 questions, 30 questions. And that is the target you should have, like 30 questions. If you target 30 questions in 1 hour, and when you give JEE mains, it is just you have to attempt 25 questions. That is what, when you target higher, target that you have to attempt 30 questions, so that it becomes easier to attempt 25 questions during your final exam.
So finally, clarity of concepts is very important. You need to understand each and every concept of the concept, and questions will be asked in different directions of the same concept. So you need to understand the concepts very clearly. So concepts should be crystal clear. That is the fundamental thing what you require. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, sir.
Nade.
Let's say now during the question of JEE, first now JEE means question practice ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ advanced question practice ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ advanced question practice ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಮೋಟಿವೇಷನ್ ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು
At starting, it will be tough. Solving JEE advanced question is not that easy. Start with mains, and once you find yourself comfortable in that, get into advanced, little tougher questions. Go to previous years of JEE advanced, see them how they have asked the questions. If you are not able to solve, it's okay. If you are able to understand them, this is how you can do, see their solutions, this is how they have done, this is how you have to implement. And slowly, it won't be like first day even I was not able to go and solve JEE advanced paper. It is not possible. So firstly you have to start with the class concepts that are taught in class. Then you can move to NCERT if you are solving simple questions. Then go to JEE mains, solve them. Once you get comfortable, increase your level progressively. That's it. Smart work is indirectly a discipline that you have to follow, being consistent. That is smart work. Hard work is just like, what do you say hard work? Hard work is when you study for 2 days a week, like all 24 hours again. That is hard work. If you are consistent enough, like just 1 hour, like 4 hours per day, you will not feel that it is hard work. That is what smart work is. And being consistent, being disciplined, and one thing while giving your papers, JEE exam is not that you have to solve every question. Because since your childhood, since your first standard, you are taught in your boards is you have to solve everything and get up to final answer. JEE mains doesn't demand you of that. It will never ask you what you have solved, show me your answers, nothing. You should play smartly during your papers, never, so that is what I would say. JEE mains is more about eliminating options. That is the main strategy. Whenever you see a question, if you see an equation in mathematics, something trigonometric equation, there are 4 options. They ask what are the roots of this equation. So what you have to do is by putting like some boundary conditions, like sine inverse x is equal to something. You know, sine inverse has a range from -1 to 1. So you can eliminate 2-3 options from that, and you can directly answer rather than going on solving completely, getting up to the last answer. That's not what JEE mains is. Even if you see, I didn't bring, actually, if I could, I would have brought my answer sheets of JEE advanced. I have not solved every question. You are just like, you have to write question, see the options first. These are the options where it can fit, and it is more of eliminating. And also try to attempt whenever, even this is for CET as well, any competitive exam. I'm not just talking all the tips, whatever I'm saying is not just limited to JEE mains, it is also for CET. It is more about eliminating options and try to work on that. This comes when you analyze your papers. When you give your papers, come back home. How I used to analyze my papers is, I used to give my papers 3 hours, then I used to come, I used to start solving everything once again. Come and start solving once again. It will take hardly 1.5 hours. If you have solved it in 3 hours there, it will take 1.5 hours. And then see which questions you have not done. Mark those questions, write them in your notes that why you were not able to solve this question, and whichever questions you have solved, see is there any smart way to solve this. Discuss with your friends. See, I ask you how did you solve, is there any shortcuts? So see those shortcuts. He said I had just put 1 1 1 here and I saw this option gets eliminated, this gets eliminated, and this is the answer. So play smart, discuss with your friends, and that is how, and analyze the papers properly. That is all.
Whenever we attempt a paper, sometimes we feel blank. What do you do at that time? Because we are doing further concepts, we feel blank.
While attempting paper. So whenever you go for attempting paper, you should have some target. these are competitive exam. It is not your boards. You have that habit of solving every question in your boards. So that is what I am saying. When for getting into this competitive environment, you have to change your mindset completely. Like when I go for JEE Advanced, I go with the mindset that I have to solve only 50% of the questions. There will be questions which I should skip them. That is what the smart work is. That is what you will gain the experience when you go through your 2 years of attempting papers. So never go with that. I'll go and I'll solve all the questions of like whatever they are, like 75 questions in JEE Mains. You are not going with the intention of solving all 75. Go that I'll go this time I am going to target 40 questions. So choose those 40 questions. Try to eliminate questions that you should know your strengths and weakness. If you know your strength, you know these concepts well. Go target those questions, leave those others, and when in your first round when you're solving paper, go with your strengths. Whenever you attempt a paper, like I used to, when I was in 11th, I used to attempt a paper like JEE Mains. I used to attempt giving 60 minutes for chemistry, 60 minutes for physics, and 60 minutes for mathematics. But eventually, when I understood this is not the way, you have to experiment when you give your papers. Experiment, seeing what order, starting I used to start with chemistry, then I used to do maths and physics. Then in between I started to change the order and see how it works, and how that is what. Then when I gave my final exam, I gave just 25 minutes for chemistry, because chemistry is a subject, if you know, you will do it in seconds, else you are not able to do it. So if it is what it is actually. So that is how in my JEE Advanced I gave 25 minutes for chemistry, and I started it first, so that I can finish and remove that it's over. Then I came to physics. I gave 60 minutes for chemistry, physics, and then remaining 1.5 hours I gave for maths, because I know that is my strength. If I give some extra time for it, I will score marks. So that is how you have to see what suits you better. That is what you have to experiment every time you are giving paper, and see and analyze that. Every time you have to analyze what happened during that time. Whenever you come home, what actually was your thought process? Why didn't you think in that way? Where did you lack actually? Was it the concepts, or was it the pressure that made you not think that even though question may be easier, but your thought process sometimes due to pressure it doesn't direct you in that way. So that is what you have to analyze yourself, write those mistakes, and whenever you go for attempting papers, always see previous mistakes whatever you have done and try not to repeat them. Yeah, that's it.
If any faculty, yes, you want to ask?
Whenever you feel to give up, how do you motivate? आपको strength कितनी दिया है?
There is no question of giving up.
नहीं, जब आप मतलब स्टडी करने लगते हैं, तब आपको ऐसे लगता है कि हाँ मैं भी गिव अप करूँ, मेरे को होगा या नहीं, तो आप अपने आप को मोटिवेट कैसे करते हैं?
I used to go to faculties. I used to talk to them. This is what I'm facing problem. I'm not able to score marks. That is only demotivates you when you don't score well in your papers. But see that you have another attempts. These are all mock papers you are giving. So that is what whenever you give a mock paper, there is another chance to improve. That is what I'm saying. Whenever you give paper, come and analyze your paper. This is the most important thing. All the toppers in quota, my friends, everyone does this. They go home, they will like if you're giving 3 hours paper, it takes at least 4 hours to analyze that paper. For me at least it used to take 4 hours to analyze the paper. What I used to do, I used to completely get into what my thought process was during that exam. what every minute, how did I change my mindset, why did I do this, why did I do this, why not this, that is what, and write down everything and use them before going any other exam. See, why did you not do this? And when you get demotivated, talk to someone that you are comfortable with, have some hobby, do something. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I have a question. Being a chemistry faculty, you said that most hated subject is chemistry. So you gave.
How many of you hate chemistry?
Okay, most of them.
In front of sir,
So most of them love chemistry.
Okay.
On behalf of my students, I would like to ask a question. So you said that you just give 25 to 30 minutes for chemistry.
Yes.
But which part do you like in that chemistry? Because so the chemistry has physical, inorganic, and organic.
My favorite was organic.
Organic chemistry.
Organic.
But most of the students feel difficult in organic chemistry.
organic chemistry is nightmare for many students.
So is that only students prefer NCERT questions or they have to prefer any other?
For chemistry, NCERT is more than enough. For JEE mains, it is more than enough. I would say you can easily score good because NCERT is everything that JEE mains ask, at least in chemistry. So chemistry, what I used to do is rather than going more into theory, which used to actually bores me. So what I used to do is I used to solve questions, and whenever I used to solve questions, I used to take this is something I learned. I had that reverse method. I used to solve questions, and whenever I used to not understand, I used to come to concept. This is what it is. And solving every day chemistry, solving 10 questions, you should take hardly 10-15. It takes only hardly 10 to 15 minutes. If you are solving inorganic chemistry, it takes for 10 questions, it takes 10 minutes. So what I used to have is, because I was not that consistent in chemistry, what I had is, I immediately after wake up, I should solve 10 chemistry questions, else I would not have my breakfast. That is what I had. And same with organic. If I don't solve 10 questions organic, then I'll not have my lunch. That is what.
So before having any food, you should target that at least I'm going to solve 10 questions. So the thing is that you should follow only one book, NCERT book. Okay?
And solve them repeatedly. Once you have finished complete book, start again and solve them. And never write the answers on your textbook, because when you're solving them, when you see answer, your mind won't work. So don't write anything. And another thing I would like to say, when you're attempting questions, when you're practicing questions, mark questions. By marking, what I mean is, when you are attempting, like you are attempting a physics question, you find something, there is a concept that is there in this question, and it is you were not able to attempt in your first go. So mark there, like what I used to put star, like I used to put the star, and whenever next time I come or whenever I am revising, I used to attempt all those star questions, because the questions that I am able to attempt first time, I will attempt them even whenever they are asked to me. But the questions which were I was not able to attempt in my first go, those are the questions that will improve your rank. Because if you want to compete among 1,000, you have to do the things what only 1,000 students do. If you are doing what all lakhs of students are doing, you will be among those lakhs. So if you want to get into those 1,000, do what those 1,000 students do. Attempt the questions that you are not able to attempt. Revise them regularly, and that is what that will help you actually. So that is one most important tip while you are attempting your questions.
I don't hate chemistry.
Don't hate chemistry. At least give time. So what I am saying is, while preparation, I never gave less time to chemistry. Mind you that I gave equal time to all three subjects. It was only during the paper you have to give less time to chemistry, because if you know answer, you will do it in seconds. Else, and then what you will do, you will put something, this is this, and you will end up taking wrong answer, and you will score negative.
How did you identify those time wasting questions? I mean, in the question paper, there will be some questions which will put you in the loop. They will not let you go fast. So how did you identify those time wasting questions there?
know my strengths and weaknesses. Like in maths, I was good at probability, permutations and combinations and all. So I used to target those questions. I know my weaknesses as well. You should know your weakness. You should accept that you have weaknesses in these concepts, and that will help you, because whenever you are attempting paper, if a question comes on the topic that you are weak at, then leave that question. Don't attempt it at first time. Go to the questions that you are attempting, that you are good at, those questions that are your strengths. Attempt those questions, and once you attempt like 4-5 questions, then automatically there will be confidence in you that how you have attempted so many questions now. Then in second round, come to the questions where you can think how you can you have good concepts of that and you can do that. Then what I used to do, I used to attempt paper in three goes. First time I used to attempt all the easy questions, the questions that were my strength. Second attempt I used to come where I'm like 50-50, I can attempt those. Then second and third, if there is time, then I'll go and attempt those remaining questions. So that is how you have to play smartly, and that is what you will learn when you will attempt more papers when you're in your 2 years.
So you should not do that in such a way that let me complete all the questions from physics first and then chemistry first. Like that we should.
Don't do that, because the one who is setting the paper, they will try to put tough questions at first, so that you will get demotivated there itself, and you will then when you come to the questions that are easy, even those, because of that pressure, you will tend to not attempt that. You will do something wrong, and that is what it will happen. So that's you should understand.
What was your approach, your strategy towards physics?
Physics, whenever I used to read theory is very important when it comes to physics. You have to analyze everything, whatever the theory is taught. I used to also, whenever I used to read theory, I used to write by myself. I used to try to explain myself what I am doing, what I am reading, and deriving everything that is derived in your classes, any formula if there is and it is derived to you. Go home, derive by yourself, teach everything that is taught to you by your sir, go and teach to yourself. This is what he taught me, this is how you have to do, this is how you have to put your tension in FBD and all, if you are learning mechanics and all. So that is how you have to teach to yourself and see where you are stuck in, and then go back to the notes and see this is where I didn't understand. If you don't even understand that, come talk to your sir and say this is where I'm stuck, I'm not able to explain myself why there is not this. Question yourself, why not this, why not that.
Your final verdict, strategy, or anything what you want to say in a sentence or 2 sentences for the students who are aspiring to attend these competitive exams.
Be disciplined, aim high, and have self-belief. That is most important. Since my second year, whenever someone used to ask me, I used to say, JEE, I have cracked it. It is almost done. Like I am just about to give my paper, else everything is over. JEE is nothing. I have cracked it. That is what self-belief I had in myself, that I am going to crack. So have that belief, even if it motivates, show that no, you are going to do it. So that are my concluding seconds.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. That was really a great time with you. And what was your opinion about students sitting in front of you?
I'm really glad by the number of participation and the excitement they have when they ask their questions. So I hope they will do better, and I'll see them now.
A special thanks to Abhinandan sir for getting him here. Okay. So that's all about today's event, interaction with an IITian. Thank you very much on behalf of all my students being here. Okay.
Yeah, I would also express gratitude to everyone, the management, and you for taking your valuable time and hearing my words. Hope they are valuable to you as well. And yeah, thank you. I am ready for any time if you ask me. I am ready to come here and interact with you all.